Sometimes football players take things too far. Here are 15 times when footballers were caught cheating. Mbappé, for example, tried to pull off some obvious time-wasting tactics against Belgium, but the referee wasn't falling for it. Then there's this goalkeeper who went to extreme lengths to stop a goal. After a fantastic last-minute tackle, he was left out of position, giving the opposing team a clear shot at an easy goal. But the goalkeeper had other plans. In a quick-thinking move, he threw a second ball onto the field, forcing the referee to halt the game. Smart play from the goalie. Now, let me tell you about one of the most unbelievable cheating scandals in football history, an incident that got a goalkeeper banned for life. On September 3rd, 1989, Brazil played against Chile in a World Cup qualifying match. With over 141,000 fans in the stadium, Chile took the lead 1-0. Their goalkeeper, Roberto Rojas, was having an outstanding match. Then, out of nowhere, a flare was thrown onto the field, landing dangerously close to Rojas. Medics rushed to check on him, finding Rojas bleeding and quickly taking him off the field. The Chilean team insisted that the flare had been thrown by Brazilian fans, but there was no footage to back that up. However, a photographer managed to capture the moment, and when the photos were developed, it became clear that the flare had landed far from Rojas. There was no way it could have hit him. Eventually, Rojas confessed that in a desperate attempt to secure Chile's qualification, he had hidden a razor blade in his glove and cut himself to create the illusion of injury. This revelation led to Chile's disqualification from the World Cup, and Rojas received a lifetime ban from football. Honestly, his acting was Oscar-worthy. Faking an injury is one thing, but faking your age to break records, now that's next level. Enter Youssoufa Moukoko, who shattered Bundesliga records by becoming the youngest debutant and goal scorer at 18. But in reality, Moukoko was 22. After some confusion with adoption papers and a forged birth certificate, the Bundesliga had been misled into thinking he was a teenager. And if that wasn't wild enough, imagine a team sending spies to cheat. In 2019, Leeds United's manager Marcelo Bielsa faced Derby County in a championship match. Just days before the game, a suspicious man was seen lurking outside Derby's training ground. When approached, it was revealed he was a spy sent by Bielsa. Once the incident became public, Bielsa openly admitted that he had been spying on opponents for years, claiming that it was acceptable practice in South America. But in England, this was seen as outright cheating. Speaking of blatant cheating, John Terry didn't just break the rules of football, he broke the trust of his own teammate. In 2010, Terry was caught cheating on his wife, Toni, whom he had married just 3 years earlier. But this wasn't just another scandal. The woman involved was French model Vanessa Peroncel, the former partner of Terry's teammate, Wayne Bridge. To make matters worse, Vanessa and Bridge had children together, and had only recently split up when the affair began. When the affair came to light, it caused chaos. Bridge left Chelsea for Manchester City and also retired from the England national team, refusing to play alongside Terry after what had happened. The tension was palpable when they faced each other on the pitch a few months later, and Bridge famously refused to shake Terry's hand. You can't blame him. Terry had taken everything from him. Terry, despite having children of his own, managed to keep his marriage intact and continues to be with his wife to this day. He also went on to enjoy a long and successful career with Chelsea and England. Bridge, on the other hand, reflected that the most painful part of the whole ordeal wasn't just the betrayal, but that his career is now remembered more for this scandal than for his accomplishments on the pitch. But now, let's dive into one of the wildest moments of cheating ever seen in football. When Leeds United faced off against Aston Villa, the game was deadlocked, with neither side able to find the back of the net. Then, an Aston Villa player went down with an injury. The Leeds players signaled that they were going to kick the ball out of play, but that was just a ploy to catch Villa off guard. Here's what happened. Leeds advanced down the field as if they were going to stop play, but instead, they carried on, got into the penalty area, and scored. Chaos erupted. There were shoves, pushes, and even red cards flying, that even the Leeds manager was stunned. He ordered his team to allow Villa to score a free goal in return. However, one Leeds player tried to block the goal, but it was too late. Villa still scored. That match was was full of dirty play, but nothing was quite as infamous as Maradona's hand of God against England in 1986. During the 1986 World Cup, Maradona shattered the hopes of English fans as Argentina knocked them out with a 2-1 victory. But the real heartbreak came when fans realized what happened on the first goal. Maradona had blatantly used his hand to punch the ball into the net. That goal wasn't just iconic for football. It might as well have been a contender for volleyball's best play. Speaking of controversial victories, let me tell you about one of the greatest comebacks in football history. A comeback tainted by questionable actions. Barcelona's incredible turnaround against PSG in the 2017 Champions League is legendary. After losing the first leg 4-0, Barcelona stormed back to win the second leg 6-1. But Barcelona's players bent the rules several times. Mascherano committed 2 handballs in the box, both of which went unnoticed, and then Luis Suarez earned a game-changing penalty with a blatant dive. It was almost as if the referees were on Barcelona's payroll that night. Imagine not just paying off referees, but an entire team. That's what some believe happened in 1984 during Spain's Euro qualification campaign. Spain had underperformed and needed an impossible result in their final match against Malta, a win by at least 11 goals. Malta had never lost by such a margin in their history. By halftime, Spain led 3-1. Meaning they needed to score 8 goals in the next 45 minutes. What happened next was unbelievable. In the second half, Spain managed to score the 8 goals they needed to win, 12-1. Some believe Malta was paid off, while others claimed they were given spoiled food that made them feel ill during the match. One Maltese player even suggested that Spain had been using performance-enhancing substances, noting that some players were foaming at the mouth. What really went on during halftime remains a mystery, but one thing is certain: something shady was happening. But one player we know for sure has tried to cheat the system is Sergio Ramos. During a Champions League match against Ajax, Real Madrid was leading 2-1, and Ramos found himself on a yellow card. Knowing he would be suspended with one more booking, Ramos made a calculated decision to intentionally get another yellow, so he would miss the second leg. However, when the second leg came around, Ajax delivered a dominant performance, scoring 4 goals to knock Real Madrid out of the competition. All Ramos could do was watch helplessly from the stands as his tactical decision blew up in his face. Sometimes, karma really does come back around. A World Cup winner who got banned from football for accidentally cheating. Paul Pogba has just been hit with a 4-year ban from the game. How did it come to this? After Juventus secured a 3-0 victory, Pogba was randomly selected for a doping test, which is pretty routine for professional footballers, but the results were anything but routine. Pogba tested positive for elevated levels of testosterone, a hormone linked to enhanced performance and endurance, which is illegal in football. As a result, Pogba now faces a 4-year suspension from the sport. Both Pogba and his agent have claimed that he didn't knowingly take any banned substances. However, with football's strict anti-doping regulations, this seems like a long shot. Pogba's decline started well before this doping scandal, though. Did you know his own brother once held him at gunpoint, demanding millions of pounds? Or that Pogba reportedly consulted a witch doctor to cast a curse on Kylian Mbappe? Speaking of Kylian Mbappe, check the video on screen to uncover his hidden secrets.